My name is Shailesh Kumar and you're watching National Defense. People's Republic of China is going to celebrate 80th anniversary of the victory in the war against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. A military parade showing China's might is also included in series of events. The event just soon after SCO Summit 2025 in Tianjin is likely to be attended by many heads of the states, including Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. You can imagine such big congregation of leaders. Fighter jets will roar over Beijing and tanks will rumble past Tiananmen Square on Wednesday. When Chinese President Xi Jinping for life presides over an elaborate military parade designed to stoke national pride and show off China's diplomatic heft. Now, besides military might, more than 24 leaders, mostly authoritarian, as per the Western media, are expected to attend, because the Western media who says democracy, democratic forces, democratic country, they are less democratic today than the autocratic countries. So they focus the autocracy. The autocracy has become more democratic and democracy has become more autocratic. So apart from that, let's discuss. Most of these leaders are expected to attend Xi Jinping's military parade. Vladimir Putin of Russia, North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un, and the President Masoud Pezeshkian of Iran. The first time that the leaders of the four countries will gather in the same place. However, all eyes are set on the kind of equipment China is going to showcase in its military parade to project itself as a world leader, as it has shown diplomatically through SCO Summit. Today, the most fearsome weapon is considered the sixth generation fighter jet. So, the sixth generation fighter jet, you could remember, you could recall, I would showcase you the picture of J-36. In December 2024, if you could recall, let me also put in some visuals that they had flown this mighty aircraft, the sixth generation aircraft. It was publicly revealed publicly revealed two prototypes, sixth generation fighter jets, J-36 and a counterpart from Shenyang Aircraft Corporation, J-50 or JXDS during the test flight. These fighter jets are still in the developmental testing, and while they signal strong R&D progress, there is no indication they are parade ready. However, you never know. You never know what would happen, because if you can recall, during President Trump, the American President Trump and Russian President Putin's meeting, when Mr. Trump was welcoming Mr. Putin in Alaska, that point of time, as they walked on the red carpet, the America shocked the world, and even Putin was shocked to hear the thunder of B-2 bomber, B-2 Spirit bomber, and the fellow contingent of F-35, its sixth generation fighter jet. And when Putin passed through that red carpet, America's most potent F-22 Raptor, the most secret weapon program, the most secret fighter jet, F-22 Raptor was there. So he passed through that F-22 Raptor aircraft hangars. They were positioned there. So that was a big message. So today, when Victory Day parade is going to happen in Beijing and the world top leaders are congregating, perhaps this may be a time when the China would showcase its H-22 bomber. Let me show you. And this J-36, the sixth generation fighter jet, which it has tested in 2024. So let me show you the picture of H-20 bomber. This is H-20 bomber. So the H-20 bomber could be part of it. It would be very surprised. People allege that this J-20 is a copycat of B-2 Spirit bomber. They have stolen the design, but whatever you say, the Chinese are good in technology. Even the Americans are not able to match that technology, especially the hypersonic, the sixth generation fighter jet. They are way behind it. China has tested its hypersonic glide vehicle in 2014. It has developed, fully developed, and the Americans are far, far behind. The Russians are far ahead of the Americans. So never underestimate the power of China. So this is what they are. And let me also show you that, let me also tell you that they may be showcasing their J-35, J-20, but earlier a conceptual mock-up named White Emperor was displayed at an aviation expo, but this was only just a concept model, but they tested in 2024. It's been almost 2 years, 1.5 years at least, that in 1.5 years the Chinese may have fully developed the sixth generation fighter jet, because they have their own capabilities, they have their own industrial military complex. The whole ecosystem exists in China to make such fighter jets on their own, and they are the leaders in rare earth material, the critical material which are required to make such aircraft. Even America is dependent, even the Europe is dependent on the China, the People's Republic of China, for such critical minerals, and that is why the Trump tariff war is happening, because of the critical minerals. That is a fact. So Chinese officials have not confirmed showcasing a sixth generation fighter jet. Instead, China is likely to showcase J-20 and J-35, but you never know the surprise. And it could also be possible that the Russian weapons may also be showcased in this, because they fought together. However, America also fought together in the World War II with the Chinese, with the Russians, but the America is not attending this Victory Day parade, wherein the China would showcase its military might. So, having said that, it could be a big message that if Kim Jong Un also showcases some of his weapon system at the Beijing's parade, so together, and because the Iranian president is also there, wherein the America has conducted aerial raids, and Trump claims that he obliterated the nuclear facility of Iran with those B-2 bomber, Spirit bomber, who flew 36 hours in a row, non-stop. So it could be a message if China showcases its S-20 bomber, which could be way better in technology than the Americans' B-2 Spirit bomber, because the Chinese are good in developing technologies, and they develop far better technologies. Today they have the aerospace ecosystem in their own country. So you never know what kind of things are going to be displayed. So, but let me also show you, if I am saying that J-20 and J-35, so let me show you some pictures of the J-20, which is the Chinese aircraft. So this is J-20, which China may showcase, and this is J-35, the stealth fighter jet of China. And it would be beyond surprise that China's debut of H-20 bomber, I mean, nobody could even think of, but I believe, because whatever had happened, And recently we have seen kind of the bonhomie between the Xi Jinping and the Russian president and the Iran. And America is very fearful of China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran axis. So that's very important to understand in this military parade. What is the significance, the strategic message of this military parade? The Chengdu J-20. Let me come to that aircraft first. So the Chengdu J-20, which is here, this one. The Chengdu J-20 is nicknamed as Mighty Dragon. It is China's first operational fifth generation stealth fighter jet and is a symbol of Beijing's rise as a major aerospace power that builds the capabilities domestically, indigenously. And it is developed by Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group, CAIG, under AVIC. The J-20 was designed to complete, or I would say, in fact, if we compare it with the US fighters, so it is designed to compete with the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. They are the mighty aircraft which America has. So the competition between the American air fighter jets and the Chinese fighter jets is the gap is much more now, because if you can think of America declared its sixth generation fighter jet much later, the next gen fighter much later, the 47, what you call F-47. So the Trump has declared in the Oval Office with Pete Hegseth and the industry leaders just 2 months back or few weeks back. But it is far behind than the Chinese program, because the sixth generation fighter jet, it is going to be next level. And if the Chinese, they showcase their sixth generation fighter ever in the sky when the leaders are lined up on the ground, it would be a strong message to the whole world that the Beijing is a military superpower, and it would be a direct challenge to the Americans. And the Americans, they always consider China as a pacing challenge. Now they would definitely bring China as an enemy, because the military might Trump boasting of is nowhere to compare as of now. I have been saying this, that the Chinese have been developing their capabilities very fast. It's been 18, 19 years I'm saying this thing. People have not believed the Chinese technology. But if you can remember, when I was in television, I have been saying from the very beginning that the Chinese technology is far superior, and they have the capabilities to make things domestically at a much higher speed than any other nation can. And this is proven now. So they have the sixth generation. I mean, America would not have so many numbers of the fifth generation fighter jet as of now. The F-22 and F-35. They are two stealth fighter jet of fifth generation. But the Chinese, you can think of, they have J-20, J-35, and now they're J-36 or J-50. And the hypersonics, they are far more than a decade ahead of America. So Mr. Trump, he may claim, I'm not a fan of China, but definitely I'm also not a fan of America. I'm a fan of my Indian military, and we have our own capability. Our DRDO is doing wonderful. But since we are talking about the Chinese military might, definitely we must say that the Chinese are far superior today than the Americans, and the Americans must realize this. The only thing is that we share a disputed border with China. So America is our friend. Then the Chinese, they are not even able to win our trust, even after decades of negotiations on the border. So in Indo-Pacific, we have very good relationship with America. America has allies and partners. That is how they are supreme. They are strong, but they are losing their partners. They are losing because of their policies. Anyways, apart from this is a narrative which I want to tell you, but it is not upfront what I am going to tell you. The Shenyang. Okay, it is not here. Let me also bring. So stay tuned. Just don't go away. I want to show you that picture of DF-ZF. Okay, here it is. Let me bring this in the. So here you see. So this is China's DFZF. DFZF. The Wu-14, that is developed by China's Academy of Aerospace Aerodynamics under the KESIC. The first test was done in 2014, and I had done the story at that very point of time, almost 11 years before. It was first confirmed hypersonic glide flight. This was operational, carried by DF-17 and DF-27 missiles. So this is a kind of hypersonic weapon that is mounted on a missile, DF-17 and DF-27. So let me also show you what are those missiles, DF-17 and this is DF-17 and DF-27 also I can show you. This is, so this is DF-17 and this is DF-27. These are the missiles. So coming back, this is launched on a missile, ballistic missile. Both the missiles, DF-17 and 27, they are ballistic missiles. And it separates at a high altitude, 40 to 100 kilometers. When the missile goes, it reaches from 40 to 100 kilometers, it detaches and it goes hypersonic because it gains up and above the speed of the missile which it carries, on which it is mounted. And then it glides through the atmosphere at Mach 5 to 10. So generally, the Mach 7 is hypersonic. Below that, it is supersonic. So when it crosses the 7 times the speed of sound, it becomes hypersonic. So it can go up to 10 times the speed of sound, 10 Mach. And it can maneuver literally and alter the altitude, making tracking very difficult. That is the beauty. So it can, nobody can track that way because it can change its own glide path. And it delivers either a conventional or maybe a nuclear payload with high accuracy. As I told you, this DF-17, which is a medium-range ballistic missile, which is almost 1800 to 2500 kilometers, and it is operational. The missile is totally operational from 2019, and China has showcased, I believe, in the last military parade, the DF-ZF. So China is likely to showcase the DF-17, which is medium-range ballistic missile, in this parade. So that is one thing. And another thing about the DF-26 is Guam. That is considered a Guam killer. It is intermediate range ballistic missile. Let me show you the picture. DF-26. It is here. It is an intermediate range ballistic missile, DF-26, and it is capable of reaching US installations in Guam. So the Guam base is not safe. China can launch the missile and it can hit. It is an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, and strategic launches. So DF-31, next is, let me show you DF-31, which is here. Okay, I don't have a picture, it seems. But anyways, so DF-31 AG is a mobile ICBM with 11,000 plus kilometer range. So it can literally reach any part of the world. 11,000 is quite big distance. Besides the main HGV carrier in PLA rocket force, DF-27, which is intermediate range ballistic missile with a range of 5,000 to 8,000 kilometer, it is tested with HGV in 2023 and believed to be capable of reaching Guam and Pacific targets. So you can imagine the America must be worried, and they are worried in geopolitics. That is how they want to contain China and Russia, and anyone who is aligning them in their own national interests. So they want to maintain their supremacy, but ultimately it is not the weapon that is going to make you supreme. It is the heart of the people. If they are with you, then you are the superpower. So you can never underestimate the soft power. Soft power is much, much stronger than the hard power. If the heart sinks together, believe you me, a nation can reach to any height. If your heart doesn't sink, if you have animosity, you're not gonna gain a peaceful rise. You cannot be a world leader. So America must rethink its policies. It is not gaining. It is through its trade war. It is trying to reimbalance, but it is destabilizing the whole world. Anyways, coming to DF41 ICBM. Let me bring in some picture. DF41, in case if I don't have a picture. Okay, no problem. So it is believed it could eventually carry HGV for global strike capabilities. So you can imagine it can hit any target anywhere. It is China's most powerful ICBM with 15,000 kilometer range with MRV capability. So I mean, you can hit multiple targets with the same missile 15,000 kilometers away, any part of the world. And then comes the YJ series anti-ship missiles. Let me also bring in some picture. If I have YJ series. Okay, where is the YJ series? Okay, let me bring in case I can. YJ. Seems it is not available at the moment. Anyways, you can search on internet. I'm so sorry for that, but let me bring you. So YJ-15, YJ-17, YJ-19, YJ-20, these are the Eagle attacks missiles, some of which are hypersonic and are designed for rapid strikes on naval targets. So Y series is mainly for the naval targets, ships, submarines or aircraft carrier. And then there are submarine launched GL-3 missiles. They are strategic SLBM systems. Then comes the drones, autonomous systems, and direct energy weapons, which China may showcase in its military parade. Let me just check in case of if I got some questions on the comment. No, I don't have at the moment. Anyways, so coming back, so the FH-97 stealth combat drone that could also be showcased. It is first declared combat-ready stealth drone of China. And direct energy weapons and electronic warfare system, the China is much way behind the Americans in terms of lasers. They are trying to develop things, but I believe that the Americans have much better capabilities in lasers. So and even jamming tools the Americans have, because they have more better space force or the space capabilities than the Chinese. Chinese are trying to get ahead of it. But I think the Americans are far, but Russians have better capabilities than even the Americans. So it is to be seen how things are going. So they have the anti-satellite capabilities, anti-missile systems. And now coming to the underwater drones and anti-missile defenses, they have extra large unmanned underwater vehicles, which they call XL UUVs. And I have the picture for that. Let me show you that. So this is the picture. XL UUVs, the large torpedo-shaped drone submarines, spotted. It was spotted during various rehearsals. So, and this is very important. Anti-missile satellite hunter systems, HQ-29 system. HQ-29 is here. HQ-29. This is the HQ-29. Potentially capable of intercepting satellites. Also missiles in low Earth orbits, LEO orbit, and it was seen mounted on a mobile launcher earlier. And now there are early warning and carrier-based systems also, which can be part of it. And the KJ-600 early warning system. I have the KJ-600. This is KJ-600 early warning aircraft, AWACS. And then carrier-based high-altitude surveillance planes, advanced electronic warfare tools integrated with command, control, and battlefield networks. So this is what security has been tightened otherwise across Beijing in preparation, because the world leaders are there in preparation for the parade. Rehearsals have involved more than 40,000 soldiers of the PLA and also civilians, staff. The parade route will proceed along Changam Avenue, a central thoroughfare that passes Tiananmen Square, and the entrance to the Forbidden City. So other guests who are expected to attend include Min Aung Hlaing, the chief of Myanmar's junta, the military junta, and the President Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo, who was also invited by Mr. Trump, if you remember, in the Oval Office, and leaders who hail from countries with abysmal human rights. I mean, as per the Western media, but the Americans, they always rake up the human rights issues, but they have to look back what is happening there. The religious freedom and the human rights freedom, it is not the same. Only 7 of the 25 countries whose leaders are attending are considered free or partly free by Freedom House. It was a Washington-based advocacy group who had said that these are the autocratic nations aggregate or congregating at one place. So there is one notable outlier, Prime Minister Robert Fico of Slovakia, who is a NATO member state, is considered one of the freest countries in Central Europe. Fico is also likely to attend, a long-time critic of Western support for Ukraine, has worked hard to have better ties, economic ties with Beijing. So he is also there. And still the convergence of so many decidedly undemocratic leaders, as per the Western press, underscores China's pull with autocrats as the world's leading authoritarian power. It is no doubt that the Chinese are autocratic state. Therein, President Xi Jinping himself has declared president for life. But still, I would say the West has to rethink its own democratic values today, because ultimately you are harming the democratic countries. So, I mean, you should have a win-win situation. But anyways, they say that leaders from 11 of the 14 countries bordering China were represented, including Mongolia, Laos, and Nepal off. That means they are showcasing that there is a demonstration that the China is already a regional superpower. So China says that we are the leader of the global south, but India is no less than a leader of the global south. And just by being in the military parade by Laos or by China or by some other countries, maybe Nepal, Mongolia, it doesn't mean that China has become a world leader or the voice of those countries. India has a very good relationship with many of these nations who are participating in this parade. The Russia is one example, I would say. So this is what I wanted to tell you about the military might which China would showcase on very soon, tomorrow on 3rd of September. So I believe I should end this live here. Thank you very much for being part of this live session, and I request you to come back and do subscribe so that you don't miss my lives. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.